What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, over the past couple of days, I have seen the same reoccurring question on social media and in news articles and, on Instagram and Twitter and all over the place. And that question is, of course, the title and thumbnail of this video. Do you trust Sheila Hamp? And, it's a question to the fans. It's a poll. It's a question for comments. It's a question for feedback. Do the fans trust Sheila Hamp to be the savior of the Detroit Lions? Now, in this video, I wanted to talk about some of the reasons people say no, some of the reasons people say yes, and kind of give my stance on it and get your guys' opinion on it to whether or not you guys and whether or not the fans of Detroit trust Sheila Hamp to be the savior that this team needs her to be. Now, before we get into the video, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying this Detroit Lions content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It only takes 2 seconds out of your day to do so, and it helps the channel out more than you could know. So if you could do that, I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But without any further ado, without any more requests, let's get into talking about this question and get into talking about whether or not we as the fans should trust Sheila Hamp. Now, according to a poll that I saw today by the Pride of Detroit news article, they put out a poll and, I believe they had just over 1,300 people respond, a little under 1,400. I can't remember the exact number. It was something around that. And in those 1,300 people, 103 of them said yes, which is around 7% of fans said yes, they do trust Sheila Hamp. 914 people said no, they do not trust Sheila Hamp to be the savior, which roughly equates to about 66% of people, and the remaining 360 people said that they are undetermined or unsure whether or not she could be the savior just yet. They haven't made up their mind yes or no, which roughly equates to 26% of the total vote. Now, there are definitely reasons and there are definitely some major things that people say and people point to when they say Sheila Ford is not the person to save the Detroit Lions, and those people are generally Ford haters. They're generally people that want the Fords to sell the team. And one of the big reasons that people don't believe in her is just because she is a Ford. She's a member of the Ford family. And the other reason that I see a lot is that she has not made the decision to fire Matt Patricia just yet. She has not gotten rid of him. She hasn't made that statement, hasn't shown that she wants to be a true winner. That is the argument I hear out of a lot of people when they say Sheila Hamp is not the answer and is not the right person to run and own the Detroit Lions. Now, I can see where these people are coming from, right? I can understand the argument. I can understand where the argument is coming from, and I can understand the basis behind said argument. But if you truly look at the reasoning behind some of her decisions, and you truly look at some of the reason behind the arguments, both of these accusations are very flawed, and they are very biased towards their own opinion, and they're not necessarily looking at it straightforward and looking at it from a perspective where there is no bias. They're not looking at it from a perspective of, she is her own person. They're looking at it as she is just another Ford, and she has not done what they want her to do yet. Now, starting with the Matt Patricia firing situation, I don't think she's mishandled this situation at all personally. She has given Matt Patricia a fair and equal chance to save his job. Just as Martha Ford said in her letter after the 2019 season, they are going to commit to Matt Patricia for a third season. They are going to let him coach. They are going to let him run his team the way he wants it to be ran, and they are going to give him a fair shot to be a playoff contender in the 2020 season. And Sheila Hamp has stuck by that statement. Sheila Hamp has stuck with that, and she has given him a fair chance to make the playoffs and to turn this team into a contender. A lot of people think that, we should have fired Matt Patricia by now. He has 6 losses. This team isn't very good. They're clearly not a playoff contender. So Sheila Hamp has failed the Lions by not firing Matt Patricia. But that's just not the case. She is being an unbiased party. She is giving Matt Patricia a fair and equal chance to save his job. She's keeping bias out of it. She's keeping opinion out of it. She is keeping, everything out of it. And she is saying, well, if you can't make the playoffs, then you are gone. But if you can make the playoffs, if you can somehow go on a run and make this team look really good and somehow put us in the playoffs, then you can save your job. Then you can keep it. That is not her being a bad owner. That is not her being a bad, person, or that is not her mishandling the situation. That is her being fair. That is her being unbiased. And that is what I like to see out of her. I don't like to see bias. I don't like to see somebody keeping somebody around just because they tend to like that coach as a person. Sheila so far has not held bias. She has not kicked Matt Patricia out because she doesn't like him, but she also hasn't, kept Matt Patricia around solely because she likes him as a person and likes him because she hired him. She is being fair. She is giving Matt Patricia a fair shot to make the playoffs. And if he doesn't make the playoffs when he is eliminated from the playoffs, which likely happens tomorrow after the Thanksgiving game, then she can fire him. And if she doesn't fire him after he's eliminated from the playoffs, or if she doesn't fire him before next season, then you can say that she's mishandled the situation, and that is when you can say that she's failed the Detroit Lions. But to say that she's failed the Detroit Lions and that she's not the right owner for this team strictly because she hasn't fired Matt Patricia after 10 games is absurd. It is an absurd argument because she is just being fair and giving him a fair opportunity to do what her mother said he could do. And Sheila is just giving Matt Patricia a fair opportunity to go out and meet the standard that the Fords set for him after the 2019 season. Now, the second argument that I see, and the second most popular argument that I see for why Sheila Hamp is not the right person for the Detroit Lions is strictly because she has Ford in her last name. It's strictly because she is blood related and because she is a member of the Ford family. And once again, just like the Matt Patricia situation, this is a flawed argument, and this is an argument that is just not, it doesn't make sense. Yes, is she related to Martha Ford? Yes, she is. She's actually her daughter, if you guys didn't know. She is a member of the Ford family. But just because you're a member of a family, just because she's a member of the Ford family, does not mean she is her mother. Sheila is not Martha Ford. Sheila Hamp is not the same person as Martha Ford. Sheila makes her own decisions. Sheila is her own person. Sheila has her own ideology, her own vision on how this team should be. She is not Martha Ford. She is not the same person. And to judge a person based on what her relatives, what her mother, or what her predecessor did is just a flawed argument. Like, you should not, here's a good example. If you were to go into the same profession as your parents, right? Would would it be fair if your dad got fired from a job and you years down the line got a similar job or got a job in the same profession? Would it be fair for that boss to fire you right away, or to say that you were a bad worker, or not hire you in the first place because your parent wasn't good at their job? Like, no, that doesn't make sense. And if that were to happen to any one of you, you would all say, well, that's unfair. I'm not my parent. I'm not my dad. I'm not going to fail at this job. So why is it that we can look at Sheila Hamp and say, okay, well, because her mother didn't do necessarily a fantastic job of being the owner, she can't be a good owner. She can't be the right person to own the Detroit Lions. Why is that a fair statement for us to make about the Ford family? But if we were to make that about any other family, if an interviewer were to say, oh, you can't get this job or you can't do this job because your dad didn't do this job well, you would think that's unfair. But then we turn around and we put that same blame and we put that same ideology right on Sheila Hamp solely because she is related to the Ford family. Like we have already seen, and Sheila has already shown that she is not her mother. She makes her own decisions, and so far throughout her, tenure as the Detroit Lions owner, throughout her career as the Detroit Lions owner in just a short time, we've already seen some change. We've already seen some good things and some good change that puts this team in the right direction to succeed. A big thing for me is that she has threatened Matt Patricia's job over and over again. Has she fired Matt Patricia? No, she hasn't. But there have been multiple rumors and multiple sources to say that during the Arizona week, during the Jacksonville week, and I believe there was one other week, that she went to Matt Patricia directly and said, if you don't win this game, you will not be the head coach next week. And unfortunately for Lions fans, and fortunately enough for Matt Patricia, he so happened to win those games. That is not on Sheila Ford. She put the fire under Matt Patricia. She put him in the hot seat. She put him to the fire, and Matt Patricia proved himself in those games. Matt Patricia won those games, and she can't in a good conscience fire him after winning a football game. When she went up to him and said, win or you're gone, and he wins, she can't get rid of him, But the fact that she's put him to the hot seat, the fact that she's put him to the fire, makes me think that she does truly want to have a winning culture and a winning team in Detroit. Another thing that makes me think that is the fact that, her first day on the job, her first interview as the Detroit Lions owner, after Martha officially stepped down and handed it to her daughter, the first thing she said was that she was open to hiring Colin Kaepernick, or she was open to signing Colin Kaepernick if it were going to help the football team. That is something that Martha Ford would never have said. That is something that in a million years, after, bribery, after anything, Martha Ford would never ever say that about Colin Kaepernick. She would never give him an opportunity, whether he be the best quarterback to ever walk the earth or whether he be the worst quarterback to ever walk the earth. It doesn't matter, because Martha would have never given him an opportunity. She would have never given him a chance in Detroit. But Sheila's first thing that she said, the first major decision she made, and the first big thing that she said to the media was that if Colin Kaepernick meets the standards, if he can help this football team, I want him on this football team. That is so different from what Martha Ford would have said and how Martha Ford would have handled the situation, that right there, the one sentence proves to me that she is going to make her own decision, that she is not her mother. She knows that times are different. She knows more modern styles. She is more likely to take risks on some different players because she already showed she's willing to take a risk on Colin Kaepernick, who hasn't, who's obviously been a very polarizing public figure for the past couple of years. Another thing that shows the ideology has changed in Detroit is the day that the Detroit Lions canceled practice in an already shortened offseason to fight for social injustice, so the players could stand up for what they believe in, so that the players can come together and say, we are not going to stand for this. We are not going to stand for racial injustice. And under Martha Ford, once again, that would never happen. It never did happen under Martha Ford, and it never would have happened under Martha Ford. Sheila has run this organization differently than her mother, and it's only been a couple of months. Sheila has only been the owner of the Detroit Lions for, I believe, just over 6 or 7 months. It hasn't even been a full year yet, and we've already seen change in the ideology and how this team is being ran and how she treats the players and coaches differently already. We are seeing a different owner in Sheila Ford than we saw in Martha Ford. And to say that she can't do her job, or to say that she is a poor owner because she is strictly related to Martha Ford, who might not have done the best job in Detroit, is ludicrous. It is unfair, it is biased, and that is just Lions fans disliking the Fords because the Fords have let them down so far. Sheila is her own person, and you cannot judge her based on what her father and what her mother did when they ran this team. You cannot judge her decisions, and you cannot judge her whole tenure as the Lions owner off 6 months and off of, you cannot judge her performance. You cannot judge her job and her ability to do her job based on what her mother did as the owner. That is unfair. That is biased. And for people to disagree and for people to say they don't trust Sheila Ford strictly because she is a Ford is just not fair. And it's just a flawed and very, very poor argument from Lions fans to why they don't like Sheila Ford. Now, the question of the video is, should we trust Sheila Ford? Do you trust Sheila Ford Hamp to be the savior of the Detroit Lions? And for me, I can't say yes just yet. I can't say strictly that yes, I do trust her, because to me, trust has to be earned. She has to show me that she is willing to make tough decisions. She has to show me that she is truly committed to being a winner, and why she's done glimpses of that. She showed glimpses like, being willing to sign Colin Kaepernick, willing to take that day off training to fight for social injustice and to fight for what her players believe in. She has shown me some flashes of what she can be as an owner, and she has shown me what she is willing to do as an owner. But to me, she hasn't earned my trust just yet. She hasn't quite got there yet because she hasn't made a huge decision. She has not made a huge controversial decision that would affect how people view her just yet. She hasn't fired Matt Patricia. She hasn't fired Bob Quinn. She hasn't made that big move that would shake up the organization and send a message. And to me, until she does that, she doesn't fully have my trust, because trust has to be earned, and she has not earned it yet. But on the flip side of that, distrust also has to be earned. I have no reason to distrust Martha Ford yet. Everything she has done so far for the organization has been positive. Everything that she has done for the organization as the owner in these past couple of months has been a step in the right direction. So for me, yes, she hasn't shown me anything to make me think that she is the savior just yet, but she also hasn't shown me any negative. She also hasn't shown me that she's taking steps backwards from where her mother was. All I've seen is her taking steps forward, taking this organization forward to a better place, and right now, I think this organization is in a better place than where it was under Martha Ford. And after just a few months, if I can say that definitively, that means she is a good owner and that she is a better owner than what her mother was. I cannot say definitively whether she is the answer or not. I cannot definitively say whether you should or should not trust Martha whether or not you should trust Sheila Hamp as the owner and to be the savior of the Detroit Lions. But what I can tell you is you cannot judge her off what her mother did. You cannot judge her off what her mother did as the owner. You cannot judge her because she has given Matt Patricia a fair shot. You cannot judge her off just a few months of being the owner. And truly, when she took over, she had her hands tied. Matt Patricia already was given his chance. She could not fire Matt Patricia. She was not allowed. He was already given his 2020 season. He was already told he was going to be the head coach. And at that point, when she took over, it would have been too late to change anything anyway. When she took over, her hands were tied and she could not make that decision. It was way too late for her to make changes, especially in the situation she was in. And this time, these next couple months is going to make or break my opinion on Sheila Ford. If she makes a good decision, if she fires somebody, if she makes a statement, whether it be Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia, Darrell Bevell, somebody high in the coaching ranks or somebody high in the ranks of the organization, if she makes a statement and fires them, and it's a good fire, not just fire somebody to fire somebody, but if it is a good firing, if it is a good move for the Lions, then she has earned my trust, And if she doesn't, if she keeps Matt Patricia, if she keeps Bob Quinn, if she keeps everything the same, then you can say, okay, well, then she's not the answer, then she's just like her mother. But from everything that I've seen so far, she's taking this organization into the right direction. She's taking them into the future, and she's taking steps forward. She's helping this organization take steps forward to better themselves in the community and as a football team. Sheila Hamp will fire Matt Patricia. That is going to come. So for you to say that she's a bad owner because she hasn't done so yet is a flawed argument. For people to say that she's a bad owner because she is related to the Ford family is a flawed argument. Sheila Ford is her own person. She's already made her own decisions. She's already helped take this organization in the right direction. And so far, she is starting to earn that trust for me, at least as, the person that could potentially save the Detroit Lions. And while I'm not there yet, I'm not ready to say that she is the savior. She's definitely shown some things that make me think that she can be the savior, that she can be the person the Lions need her to be. And she is she's shown signs that she can be the owner to take this Lions team to a Super Bowl and take this Lions team to be Super Bowl champions in the future. I thought this was a very interesting question, and I would be very curious to see where you guys stand on this. I know some people like Sheila Ford. I know some people don't like Sheila Ford. Some people are undecided, but for me, I'm undecided. I can't say yes or no just yet because the sample size is too small and all the arguments against her are very flawed. But again, on the flip side of that, all the positives she done is also a small sample size. So I can't say definitively yet whether I believe in Sheila Hamp yet. I'd be very curious to know what you guys think about this situation. I'd be very curious to know where you guys stand as far as trust in Sheila Ford, where you would rank your trust, whether you would not, or whether you're undecided. So if you could do that, leave those comments down in the comments below. Let me know where you stand with Sheila Ford right now. I'd be appreciative of it. I'd be very curious to see where everybody else stands on this. But with all that being said, that is all I got for you guys today. That is all the Lions content I have for you guys right now. If there's Lions news before tomorrow, then I will obviously make a video letting everybody know. But until then, that is all I got for you guys today. Make sure you guys tune in to the Thanksgiving stream tomorrow. I have decided that I will be streaming the Thanksgiving game. I made the decision. I'm going to stream the game. So if you guys could show up, if you guys could be there, I'd be greatly appreciative for it. Come hang out. Come watch some Turkey Bowl. Come watch some Turkey Day football with me as the Detroit Lions do take on the Houston Texans tomorrow. If you could show up, just come hang out with me. Come hang out. Watch the Lions whoop some Texan butt on Turkey Day. Watch them get a huge win on Thanksgiving. I'd be appreciative for it, and I would appreciate everybody that chooses to show up. But with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys right now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all tomorrow with more Lions content. Thank you all for watching. Bye, guys.